Hey folks, welcome to the channel. My name is Dax, also known as the Model 3 guy. If you guys are familiar with the channel and already subscribers, this video may not be for you guys. This video is going back to the basics. So feel free. I have no problem if you guys stop the video now and come back in the next video when I'll have more stuff geared towards you guys. If it's your first time here and you just bought your car, welcome to the channel, folks. This video is going to be for you. I deal with obviously the Model 3 and all the ins and outs and experiences surrounding this awesome car. Now, most of the people that have reserved over 3 years ago, waited and finally got their Teslas, all these EV enthusiasts, all the Tesla lovers and everything, they finally got their car. So now begins the wave of normal everyday people that are dipping their feet into the EV world for maybe the first time, or this is their first Tesla ever. This is where I'm going to start, folks. I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to do a little series called Back to Basics. Now, this is going to be a small series introducing Tesla to people for the very first time with little beginner steps and little tips that your salesperson probably didn't tell you. These are things that are essential to just get the car up and running for the very first few days and get yourself familiar with the car. Once you do that, I've got some pro tips. I'll put a link right up here or up here. I always forget where it is. If you've watched my channel before, you know I always forget which side it goes on. Those videos are more pro tips once you get yourself comfortable and familiar with the car. Just little things to make your things go easier. I've got 10 volumes out in that series. You can go back and watch from volume 1 all the way up to volume 10. There's 5 tips per volume, so there's over 50 tips there because one episode had 6. Don't know what happened there. This is going to be introducing the very basics of the Model 3, things that you will need to know, essential things to get you going in your Model 3 and make you more comfortable with it as you go along. So let's start. Okay folks, let's start with the very basics. How to get into the car. Obviously we all know this is a flush door handle for aerodynamics. Tesla's all about that. So you put your thumb, or you can put your finger, it doesn't matter. You can put your thumb or your finger on it, but you push in and this pops open and you open the door. That is pretty self-explanatory. That's not really the actual tip, because the tip is once you're in the car and you're ready to get out. Now there's a button here. Now you will probably know this, but the biggest tip I can say to you is show your passengers for the passenger side over here. You want to show your passengers, because what you don't want them to do is on the front doors of these cars, there is right down here, if you zoom in, you can see, I don't know if your salesperson would have told you this when a car was delivered to you. Right down here, folks, is a little lever. And if you take your 2 fingers or your 1 finger and you wrap it around here and you pull it up, what that does is that is the emergency button to get out of the car in an emergency. You don't want to use that. You want to make sure you tell your passengers not to use that. What you want to use is this. Now, your car is not going to have this little sticker there of that icon there. This is an aftermarket thing. Watch one of my other previous videos. I'll put it in the right up here. I'll show you where I got that from. The point of this, folks, is you don't want your passengers or people that drive the car to use this one. You want them to use the one up top here, because back in the day when this car was first released, when you open this, it's an emergency, like I said. It doesn't drop the window, because you'll notice, because it's a frameless window, and when you press this button here to get out, or the door handle on the outside, when you press this, the window frame comes, or the window pane comes down just about 1/4 of an inch, because it is frameless, and what it does is it's coming out of this little lip right here, allowing the door to open up without the window catching. So they fixed that now, that it comes down all the time. That is your first basic tip, just for getting into the car and getting out of the car. Okay folks, this is something that your sales guy or your delivery guy probably didn't show you, because maybe it didn't apply to you at the time. For us people in colder climates, if you look down here, as you know, when you drive, this line here, it goes black as you press the accelerator, and then when you take your foot off the accelerator, it goes down, and this goes green to show your regen. We all know what regen is. If you don't know what regen is, the brakes on any electric car is what we call regenerative braking. When you take your foot off the accelerator without even putting your foot on the brake, the motor slows down the car for you, and all that energy and all that speed, as it gets reduced and shaved off, it goes back into the battery pack. That's called regenerative braking. And on Teslas, on the Model 3, it's a little green progressive bar here that shows you how much regen you're getting back into the car. Now these little dots here, I don't know if you can see them here, these little dots They're right below the park, reverse, neutral, and drive, all your gear selections here. They're all here. And this green dot, sometimes in the summertime, you'll never see these green dots, hardly ever, if at all. But in the colder fall, winter, and springtime, depending on how long you've left your car, and depends on how much you've charged it and stuff like that, these dots can be all the way almost up to here, almost up to the midpoint here, and that limits your regenerative braking. So if you ever see that, that means your regenerative braking is limited. And the BMS, the battery management system, that every electric car has, called a BMS, a battery management system, that is programmed into the car to help you protect the battery and maintain the battery and its lifespan of the battery, because you don't want to be putting energy into the cold battery. So Tesla, what they do is the computer figures out how cold the battery is and what temperature it is and how much regen it'll allow you to put back into the battery. So if you see any dots here, that just means you're limited regen. You can drive the car, it's fine, but just if you're accustomed to the car braking and slowing down for you, you may have to press the brake manually yourself. Don't expect it to brake for you. So in the cold winter months, you might need to be a little more active with the brake pedal and actually brake the car, and don't expect the car to brake for you. Likewise, on this side, I don't have any here, but on this side right below the battery, sometimes you'll see dots up here. And what that is a limited power. Back here shows you, like I said, your limited regen, but on the right hand side, if you see any dots, and it's very rare, that means the battery is so cold that it has a limited amount of power that the computer wants to give to the car from the battery. Once again, this is all done through the battery management system. So if you see any dots here, once again, nothing you have to do, but just so you know that you're not going to get full maximum power until these dots go away, and these dots will go away once your battery is warm. Okay, folks, I'm going to show you the HVAC system. HVAC system, basically your air conditioning or your heating. Now, if you click on this fan, this little screen comes up and it shows you everything. I have it in auto, but if you don't want auto, you can come down to 1 just so the fan doesn't blow so much so you can hear me better. But here's laid out all your information you need to know. And most of the stuff here is pretty self-explanatory. This is your power. It turns everything off. If you want it back on, you click it back on. There's some pro tips I did for this, and you can see them in the link above. I'll just put it up here. But if you want heat to the back passengers, you click that, and your back passengers will get some heat. AC turns on and off. This is obviously your fan speed if you want to recirculate stuff. This button here is for if you want heat coming up to the windows, like almost like a defroster, so to speak. The air will get directed right up here. This one is if you want it directly in front of you. This is obviously for your feet, and that's the fan option. If you go here to the bottom left, you click on this. This controls all your heated seat options. Now, some of you may not have heated seats in the back, but if you have heated seats in the front, if you just click it, it goes to 3, 2, 1. Those are the different levels. I guess it's like low, medium, or high, and these are the different levels. Now you can put, if you have them all on at one point and you want to turn them off, a quick button that Tesla put in here, click all off. Moving back over here, a unique system, and the most important reason I'm showing you this is how the HVAC system works in a Model 3, because it is unique to any other car. If you put your finger on it and you hold it down and you slide your finger on the screen, this is a perfect way to directionally move wherever you want the heat or the air or any kind of the fan that's coming out on you. If you want it coming right through the steering wheel, and it'll come directly at your face. If you want it up high, you can move it to the left. So all you do is you move it around, and you can do the same thing for this, or you can do it for that. And even if you want, you can split this. If you put 2 fingers and you spread like this, now you can split the direction of air. You can have some of the air going over here, some of the air going over there. So if you want, and after it's split like this, if you want it to come back together, you take your 2 fingers and you pinch together, and it goes back to one solid stream of air. So that is the easiest way. You can do the same for the passenger side, and that's the easiest way to move around the air and get it exactly where you want it and where you're comfortable with it. What I do is I just leave it on auto. You can put the air wherever you want. Auto will put the air conditioning on if you need to. It'll put it on directly in front of you. It'll put it up to the defroster. It'll put it down to your feet. If it detects people in the back, it'll turn this on to have the back passengers get some climate too. Everything will work automatically. Also, what you can do too is once you hit the temperature, you see it come up here. You can turn off sync, because sync basically means the temperature is both the same in the left and right. But if you click that button like I showed you there, folks, to turn off sync, then it splits into two. Now you can control the passenger side. If the passenger's cold, you can put them up there. If the driver side is hot, then you can put it up here. So you can actually have someone at 18 and someone at 27. Basically means this speed, this flow of air will be climatized to 18 degrees, and this one on this side will be climatized to about 27 or so. So you can control it. A lot of cars have these days, but that's how you take away the sync. If you want the sync back on, all you do is you click here. You click any of these buttons, it'll bring up this little slider, and you click sync, and it'll put it all into one. And now you have both people at the desired temperature you have it set to. And an easy way to do this, folks, it's in one of my pro tips, but I'll just show you quickly right now. If you put your finger on the number of whatever the temperature is, and you don't have to put your finger up here to the slider. If you just put your finger on it and then slide your finger, it will move the little dot, and it'll move the slider around, and you don't even have to have your finger on it. Tesla engineered that in there just so you can make it easier for yourselves. Now keep in mind, folks, when you go to a supercharger, you usually go there when you're low battery, when you're like 10, 20, 30%. If you go then when you're at a low state of charge, that's what we call a state of charge, SOC, you'll get a faster charge. If you go there when you're like 70 or 80 or 90%, you're going to get a very, very slow charge. Even though these superchargers are capable of some really, really fast speeds of putting energy into the battery, if you go there with a high state of charge, you're going to get a slow speed no matter what. Also, temperature is dependent on it. So if you go there in the winter time, depending on the temperature, if it's really cold outside, you're also going to get a slow charge until the battery pack warms up. So depending on your battery and how full it is or how empty it is, that's how fast your charger is going to be. And also depending on the temperature. In the summertime, you don't have to worry, it'll be warm enough and you'll get a good rate of charge, folks. Okay, one of the big things with Teslas is their supercharging network, and that's probably one of the main reasons you got this car. Now when you come to the supercharging network, there's a few things you got to keep in mind. Now, you'll notice on these superchargers, they're all labeled. I'll zoom in on the bottom here. If you look in, it's labeled A, like there's a number and then there's a letter next to it. A, this one over here is B. So it goes from like 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, stuff like that. And then it goes all the way down. What these mean is the A's and the B's are connected. At least in these version 2 superchargers, the version 3s you won't have to worry about, but those are slowly rolling out. So for the meantime, you have to worry about it. Whenever you see someone, like there's someone parked over here, supercharging, and if he's on A, you don't want to go on B. You don't want to go right next to him. You want to skip one, like see I'm on 3A. So if someone came, they shouldn't use 3B, they should use 4. Now if you can avoid it, that's the best thing to do, because if you use, when I'm on 3, if you use B, you're now going to be sharing the power, because A and B is all hooked up to one trunk. So you don't want to do that. You want to be on your own separate trunk so you get the maximum amount of energy. Now the best way to do this is you just come up here. These cords are pretty thick. The new version 3s are a lot thinner. You take it off like that, and then you come to your car and you just plug it in, and then it's that easy. That's how easy it is to supercharge. Now with your Tesla, you should have got this little kit. This is called a universal mobile charger. If you open it up, this is your mobile charger. Comes with 2 little adapters. One for, I believe this is a 1450 adapter. And then these adapters, they just plug into the bottom here, into the back here. And this one is a typical 110, your household one. These ones are this one's very slow, this one's a little bit faster. You plug these into your house, and then the other end is just a typical Tesla charger right here, and this goes into the car. Now, the one big tip I'll give you about this so you don't electrocute yourself is when you're finished charging with this at home or wherever you are, if you're out and you use this, unplug it from your car first and then unplug it from the wall. Do not unplug it from the wall and then unplug it from your car. You're liable to get shocked. Not that, I mean, the chance of you getting shocked is slim, but there is a chance. So take my advice, folks, unplug it from the car first and then unplug it from the wall. Now, one of the best features with a Tesla is Autopilot. So if you have Autopilot equipped on your car, this is how you put it in Autopilot. You look for 2 things. You look for this little icon showing up on your screen and you're looking for the lines in the road from the camera picking up the lines in the road. Then you look down to your right hand stalk on the right hand side of your steering wheel, and when you have those two icons there, you tap down twice. Your car goes into autopilot. You'll know that because that icon goes blue. You have a speed and a blue circle that goes around the speed, and you have a line going straight up there. Now that's on navigate on autopilot. If you take it off, you can have two lines dictating the lane that you're in. That also means you're in autopilot. Always keep your hands on the wheel on autopilot though, folks. As good as it is, it's not perfect, so always keep your hands on the wheel and be ready to take control at any time. Now every now and then when you're on autopilot, every few seconds, probably every 20-30 seconds, a message will come up and the screen will turn blue after a while. That means you just gotta hold the wheel like there, put your hand on the wheel like there, and just take control of the wheel. You just have to give it a little wiggle, just a little bit of force, and then those messages will go away. It's what we call in the Tesla world the nag. Autopilot wants to make sure you're still there. Okay, folks, so there you have it. Those are the tips that you need to know to get started. I made them as essential tips, like to get in the car, to get comfortable with the climate system and stuff like that, because you want to feel comfortable. You don't want to be too hot or too cold. I showed you how to use Autopilot, showed you how to charge and stuff like that. Autopilot's very essential, in my opinion. I'll have more videos to come as the weeks go by that are basic, back to basics, that whole series. I'll keep it going for you folks. If you like what you saw and you found it helpful, give me a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe, hit that little subscription button and then the bell so it'll notify you. You don't have to keep coming back and check. It'll notify you when I put out one of these new videos. And the good thing is if you're one of those people that haven't bought your Model 3 yet, you haven't pulled the trigger, you're still just lurking here and you're going to buy it in a little bit and you haven't ordered it yet, use my referral code. My referral code will be down here at the end of the video. What that does, if you're not familiar with the referral program by Tesla, it'll give you 1,500 kilometers or 1,000 miles of free supercharging. It'll also give me the same, I'll be honest with you, and it'll put me into the draw to win a Tesla. So I would really appreciate it if you use my code, if you do decide that you like this video and it's been helpful and you don't have a code. If you have someone else's code, use that code. Just make sure you get your 1,500 kilometers or 1,000 miles of free supercharging. You don't want to pass that up, folks. Until then, that's all I got today, folks. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. See ya. Bye-bye.